a unique seat tonight, too.
I
Morgan
did.
sat at the scorer's table courtside in the second row near the Kings bench. So
Yeah.
you got to sit and just watch the game. No TV duties for you tonight, but you're
No.
like, I'm still going to be there and watch the game. So you got a really up-close look at what went down tonight. Tell me, being that close, what jumped out to you about Colby?
So I know, and really quick too, because I know with Stockton Kings, like we sit at the scores
Yeah.
table, but like we have, you know, our headphones on, we're broadcasting the game, whatever. So really watching the game from right there, not having anything over my ears and everything. And I can go, the list goes on for so many guys, but we'll just start with Colby Jones and what I noticed with him right away. And that was just, again, something that Mike Brown has been preaching, but his physicality, right? Just how physical he got up into guys defensively. And then also on the offensive end, just his feel, his confidence. You know, it didn't matter if it was in transition, if it was early offense, or someone was driving to the basket and getting him the ball from beyond the arc. Just his flow into his shot. It's what you would expect some other guys to be doing right now, but you got the rookie Colby Jones doing it. I know it's preseason, but it's nice to still see it at a high level.
Yeah. And he's shown it the last few games in different spots, and he's playing at a really high level. You know, guys are going to hit shots every once in a while. That's fine. But are you finding other ways to impact the game? And like you said, he's doing that. And I feel like what he does is he plays with a purpose.
Yes,
that's
a great way to put it.
When he cuts. He goes hard. Right? When he's defending, he's going to bump you. He's going to play physical. He's good playing the passing lanes. And then the icing on the cake is him hitting from three.
Yes.
And in this offense, he could get a lot of good looks from three. Mike Brown said after the game tonight that Colby Jones is making his job harder. And it matches up to kind of what Mike Brown was saying before the game. Here's what Mike Brown had to say prior to tonight's game about the rookie Colby Jones.
Shoot, I'm not the only one. You guys can see it too. As we all know, Kobe's done a great job out there. And, you know, we got a lot of guys that we can play, but it's going to be hard to keep them off the floor. And the neat part about that is it's competition. It's real competition. And if you're not getting it done, then, you know, obviously there's somebody else that could come take your spot. And, you know, it's not a threat at all. It's just that's what my job is. My job is to try to put the best five out on the floor based on that situation whenever I can. And if Kobe keeps, you know, doing what he's doing, it's going to be hard to keep him on that bench. You know, so to see him tonight in extended minutes, whether it's at the two-guard spot or the backup point spot, is something that I know I'm looking forward to seeing.
Competition.
Oh.
And I think the Kings knew what his potential was. We saw him play. We've talked to enough people about Colby's game. We saw him play in Summer League.
Sure.
We watched some of his college stuff. And you went, oh, yeah, this guy seems like kind of a Swiss Army knife. He could do a lot of different things out there. But doing it in an NBA game is a different level, as seen on the flip side with Sasha, right? Sasha is struggling out of the gate to adjust.
For sure.
Where Colby looks like he's played the NBA for in the NBA for 5 years. Like, he can guard multiple guys. He can handle the rock a little bit. He makes good decisions.
The way he carries himself.
Love his floater.
Yeah.
Has hit the three.
Oh my God. I mean, his vision even. I wrote down one of the first plays where Keon Ellis had a backdoor or something, or was just cutting, maybe it was a flex cut underneath the basket, and Colby Jones gets him the ball. Just a nice, strong pass from the top of the key. And it was just like, he's looking everywhere right now. He's managing the floor.
That pass Colby Jones had on the baseline.
Yeah.
To Malik Monk in the corner for three. It was an amazing pass.
We're talking about his vision, obviously him just making some big plays, feeling confident. And then going into what Mike Brown had to say before the game. I know we played the audio, but you and I were looking at one another when he was saying all these things in that pregame, right? He was talking about how, hey, there's going to be more competition. We had talked about on our podcast how this competition that's coming, whether it's at practice, whether it's guys seeing more minutes on the floor, is only going to make each guy better. And so, yes, I'm super excited to see where Colby Jones can keep taking his game. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see where he is at the start of the season. I think that's my biggest question mark is, does he crack the rotation at the start of the season? I think Mike's thinking about it right now. I do, because of what Colby does out there. I think the Kings know, and I mentioned this probably a couple podcasts ago, Sabonis and Fox, all-star caliber players. They were all NBA guys last year, okay? I think they have a belief that Keegan can take a jump offensively this year. He's going to be more aggressive, more confident. We've seen that a bit on display during the preseason and in the summer league. Now he's got to do it in the regular season. So you've got 3 guys right there that can get buckets. You can make the case that they could use someone that could be a catch and shoot guy and just knock down threes. And whether that's Duarte or even Colby Jones, that's got to be intriguing to Mike Brown, especially because the other guy that we talked about is Kevin Huerter, who is in the funk of all funks right now. And I know it's preseason, but he did not shoot the ball well in the preseason. Tonight, he ends up getting the start for Sacramento. He was 2 of 10, 2 of 6 from 3. He had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 fouls, 3 turnovers for Kevin Huerter. When you're watching Kevin, like what's jumping out to you right now? Like, is this a confidence issue?
Because I was in that unique seat, I really got to see body language with a lot of these guys too. And there was this one sequence, Kevin Huerter, I believe, missed a 3. Maybe he got the rebound, someone else did, put up a jumper, and then someone got the rebound, or he did, and he put up another jumper.
He missed all 3.
All 3
Yep.
in that.
I remember that.
Yeah. And in that moment, you just saw him. You didn't see him like it took over his game and he was going to be depressed from it or anything. I think he does a really good job of being like, I got to keep shooting. I got to keep shooting. But I could still tell that it was deflating, and for obvious reasons, but it seemed deflating because it's just growing on top of all the pressure that is there now. There's pressure because not only is he not shooting the best that he could be shooting, he's also not doing his job on the defensive end to where Mike Brown wants his job to be. But there's also some young guys right behind him coming for his spot. And there's nothing malicious about any of this. It's sports. This is how it goes. And I feel like if you're going to have anyone fight for these positions, these are the type of guys that you want on your squad, right? Because it's like they all know it's part of the business, it's part of the game. So it's going to be friendly competition, if you want to call it that, but it can mess with you here, and that's where I hope he just gets stronger.
And this is coming off the heels of what happened in that 7-game series against the Warriors, where he was not good and did not play a lot in games 6 and 7.
Yes.
Yeah. My gut tells me that I think Huerter is going to start the season. I think he's going to be in the starting lineup to start the season. I think Mike Brown is going to show some trust. I mean, obviously things can change between now and then with training camp and practices. Like, who knows? The coaches are going to have a lot to go over. There's going to be practices between now and then. They'll watch tape, all that stuff, and get a good pulse for it. But I think you should show a little trust in him. And guys are going to go through funks. I look at Kevin Huerter, to me, in our 1 year watching him last year, when he is hot, he is hot. But when he is cold, it's like this, where you go, is he ever going to make a shot again?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of in between. I mean, you look at how he started the year last year. It was like the month of October, sample size, I get it, like 52%. The next month, high 40% from 3. And then he had months like in the 20s in the playoffs. So you obviously want to see some things from him defensively, and Mike's going to hold all of his guys that accountable. He even mentioned Malik Monk today. Malik Monk he talked about how good Malik Monk was. He goes, I love Malik playing this way. He was attacking, setting guys up, but most importantly, he's getting better defensively, and that's what I want from him. And when he has the freedom out there, it's because he's doing what I need defensively from him.
Yes, and I love that. It's like he's getting rewarded for giving all of his effort on that defensive end. And that's why when it comes to Kevin Huerter, it's like, I understand he's not as athletic. He's not going to be able to do certain things physically on the defensive end, But my God, like you're smart enough to not only know that you should have been working on certain things on your body even during the off season to get to a certain point, because there are people coming up behind you. That was something else I was just like sitting up close and noticing with him. I'm like, did he get stronger? Is he worried about getting stronger because he's worried about screwing with his upper body and his shot in the offseason? All little things I'm very curious about, but I think defensively, he can't depend on being with that starting unit and being like, all right, they're going to cover up my flaws. I'm going to be good in a team defense because I am a smart enough defender, which I believe he is. Hands in the passing lane. He can stay enough.
He's got good size. He's like a longer guy,
yes, like
6'7".
he has things that are going for him on that end. But when he's not with that unit, what's going to save him? He's got to be able to save himself.